We're in a place you've probably never heard of. This is the Palmyra Atoll, where fish and birds and coral abound like few other places on the planet. Living proof that left to its own devices, nature can heal itself. We like to think of it as paradise lost and found. There's about 1,000 miles of water between Hawaii and Palmyra. We loaded a plane with gear, and with our guides from the Nature Conservancy, we headed south for a rare and exclusive look. Going to paradise. The U.S. military used this as a base in World War II and conveniently left a runway. The Nature Conservancy has a research station on Palmyra, and most of the time, the only people here, a skeleton crew of 4.
And works to protect coral reefs.
Dr. Stephanie Weir is a senior scientist with the Nature Conservancy.
This is a place that is teeming with life. It's on land, in the sea, in the air. There are thousands of birds nesting here, baby sharks swimming at our doorstep, tripping over crabs.
Palmyra is a kind of petri dish of possibility. It shows what can happen when you remove the things that harm an environment. Especially impressive because the entire atoll was flattened in World War II to make room for 2,000 U.S. troops. Yet here, birds like the sooty tern thrive, free to mate and raise their young because rats, a non-native species, were eradicated. A formidable undertaking led by Dr. Alex Wegman. How important is this habitat to these sooty terns?
Well, the sooty terns need habitat that is free of predators, and there are no mammalian predators on Palmyra. And so the sooty terns can breed to their heart's content.
They look like they're doing a pretty good job.
They're doing a great job right now. Yeah.
Do you ever get tired of just standing here and watching this unfold?
Never. It's a fantastic spectacle.
Palmyra is a welcome place for all kinds of birds, red-footed, masked and brown boobies, frigates, truly a sanctuary. Along the old World War II landing strip, birds like to hang out on either side, including the bristle-thighed curlew, of which there are only 7,000 in the whole world. I talk to them, sometimes they talk back. What you get from a few days on Palmyra is a clear understanding of the balance of nature, the interdependence, the symbiosis. What the birds leave on the leaves gets washed into the sea, which help the plankton thrive. And where there is plenty of plankton, there are rays like these that came to visit us every night. This is U.S. territory and a cooperative effort of the Department of the Interior, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and the Nature Conservancy. Palmyra is just one of a number of protected areas known as monuments in the Pacific, totaling 500 million acres, of which Susan White is the superintendent. Huge big swaths of the Pacific that are protected?
Yeah.
What does that mean, protected?
It's protected so that they stay wild. We'll never have condominiums here. The critters have homes to live in without having to adapt too much to having people around them all the time.
Can we afford to have these monuments out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean where nothing and everything happens?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, the simple answer is I don't think we can afford not to.
What does it mean for you to be here and to see how well this place is doing?
Yeah. It feeds my soul. It is a part of who I am, and you're gonna make me cry. Yeah. Very lucky. The best thing that we can have in life is to do something that we believe in, that we're passionate about. Yeah. Yeah. Bad tears.
Good tears. Palmyra is a string of tiny islands surrounded by 16,000 acres of lagoons and coral reefs. Reefs in Australia have been decimated by climate change. Concerned the same might be true here, we headed to sea with Dr. Eric Conklin, a zoologist and coral researcher with the Nature Conservancy.
You want to show me around a little bit? Yeah, let's take a look at what's here. Pretty cool out here. Over 170 different species of coral on Palmyra. 170? Yes, indeed.
Most of the coral was in great shape, but there were spots of concern.
This pale coral here is horribly bleached. It's not too healthy. So if that's what's wrong at the Great Barrier Reef, that kind of bleaching, just like on the Great Barrier Reef, yes.
Reefs bleach when water temperature gets warmer than normal, killing the coral. If global temperatures continue to rise, it will make it difficult for reefs to rebound. For as the reefs go, so go the oceans. Oceans that feed us, oceans that help us breathe. Because of its isolation and protection, Palmyra's reefs are still in good shape.
This is so beautiful. It's almost beyond your imagination.
For where there's good healthy coral, there's lots of fish. And fishing, by the way, is illegal within a 50-mile radius of Palmyra.
This is what's so cool about Palmyra. We've got a big parrotfish swimming by, a huge snapper, and a reef shark just all cruising through right in front of us all at the same time. I could get used to this. Blacktip reef shark coming in. Another blacktip coming in off the left. Sharks seem to want to keep an eye on us. We kind of stick out down here. We don't quite belong. We mean you no harm, sir.
The sharks pose no threat to us, reef sharks no bigger than 5 feet or so. But let's be honest, they are so cool to see, so close.
This is your office. Coming to work every day is not so bad when your office looks like this.
Palmyra is one of the last best places on Earth, a reminder of how things could be, how they ought to be.
One of the unique things about Palmyra is it's got a population of 4, right? So there are very few places in the world that you can access to study coral reefs where you can really minimize human impacts. So we can ask questions, we can better understand what's happening on a reef, understand how a reef functions, because we can eliminate all the confusion of what people create, basically, when they're living near a coral reef. We can see the coral reef more clearly here.
It's like taking the static out of a radio signal.
That is a perfect analogy.
And where there's no static, Dr. Weir hears a call for help.
I think of what's happening with coral reefs is really an SOS signal for the planet.
An SOS signal?
SOS signal. I mean, think about it. What's happening right now, this global coral bleaching event, is dramatic. To me, that's a coral screaming that we have to do something, right? There's very few systems that can give us this kind of visible, dramatic signal to point out how things are changing.
As isolated as Palmyra is, the evidence of human carelessness is everywhere. Trash on the beach that floats in from all over the Pacific.
Here we are in the most perfect place left on the planet, and there's this.
Right.
There's crap like this all over this beach.
How can this be? Well, we're doing a really good job of putting a lot of crap in the ocean. And we have to stop. You know, this is about all of us changing our behaviors and all of us getting involved.
Do you think you can do that? Do you think you can actually get people to sort of change their behavior enough to bring the planet back to some semblance of nature?
So my answer to that is, if I didn't, what the hell am I doing, right? I would be crazy. I would be crazy to be doing this if I did not think that it was possible for us to do that.
Are you crazy?
I don't know. I don't think so.
After 3 days here, we'd seen so much. But there was one more boat ride ahead to one of Palmyra's most delicate spots. And there's one more thing. With our time on Palmyra almost up, we were afraid our last adventure would get washed out. Then the sun came out, saving one of our most anticipated explorations. These are clothes I bought new in New York, then froze in a plastic bag, brought here because the place we're going is so sensitive, so restricted, they want to make sure we don't bring anything with us that could be invasive. Clad in our once frozen clothes, we head to a place called the Milky Way. Since there are no more rats in Palmyra, tiny fiddler crabs thrive here.
These fiddler crabs are the energy source for the shorebirds that fly down here all the way from Alaska. And they provide the food, the Snickers bars of the wilderness for those shorebirds.
It started to pour again. Did we mention it rains 200 inches a year here? But no way were we going to miss the coconut crabs. In this whole ecosystem here and all of Palmyra, why is this one place important?
Throughout the entire island, we have the highest density of coconut crabs found anywhere at Palmyra. They can be blue, they can be red, they look like a spider on steroids, and they also are very docile and gentle. They're very slow moving.
Perhaps because some are downright massive.
This is one of the few places in the world where coconut crabs are not harvested by humans. They're fully protected here at Palmyra, which means that they're able to live out their full lifespan. And we know that coconut crabs can live to be at least 70 years old.
And no doubt, they live a full, colorful life.
You know, is this paradise? Paradise, I'm not sure if paradise exists anymore. To be completely honest, there's really no place in the world that is untouched, and to me, paradise is a place that is completely untouched. You know, there's garbage on the beach, we've got impacts of climate change and sea level rise happening here, but this is pretty close. It's obviously beautiful, it's teeming with life, it's a place of inspiration. It's as close as you can find to paradise, I think, these days.